I assume that was the go. Hello, everyone. My name is Trups LP, and welcome to another episode of our political recap. Um,
Woo.
yep, I'm joined as always by Omegon. Say hello, Omegon.
Imagine a bottle is opening here with a cork.
We haven't drank on stream in quite some time.
No, it's been too long. I really should start doing that again.
We'll
bring it back. We'll bring it back next week. We'll bring it back.
Yeah, true.
Hello, Omegon.
Yeah, Omegon.
I'm all right. How are you?
Weirdly dissociating from reality this week, but that's okay.
This week's been quite strange. I've noticed.
Yeah, I've kind of just been in my own world. I've been doing really shitty. I've been staying up till 1:00 a.m. and then having to go into work the next day. It's not been great.
Yeah, it's not ideal if you have to get up at 7 or 6 in the morning. Not ideal. Yeah, not good at all. This week, news-wise, has been very America heavy, especially when you consider the Rittenhouse case. The two rather interesting losses. One was a they both Senate race? No, one was a governor, one was a state Senate race. Yeah, quite interesting. But if it's okay with you, I'd like to start with something that we talked about last week.
Okay, go ahead.
Last week, France seized a British trawler and fined it £63,000. Although the prosecutors in France insisted that we need to make a deposit of $125,000 before it could be returned home. However, what do you think France did? Trups?
I think they said, fuck you.
I think they did something a bit more closer to their colours of white.
Oh, did they surrender immediately?
They've,
did they?
They kind of have and kind of haven't. They've denied that the boat has been released, yet, we believe it has been. Macron said he's going to go back to a negotiating table rather than follow through on his what is being dubbed saber wrestling. The argument here is also that he additional to this is that he's already shelved the threats to block our trawlers from landing catches in French ports. He's also backed down on reducing electricity to the Channel Islands. He's backed down on the threat to tighten customs checks. And the reason why is because the majority of EU nations within the whole bloc not interested. He has no support from them. He doesn't even have support from Germany on this one. It stepped back from all minus the boat part. It has essentially waved a white flag at everything else it threatened, because everyone else realised he was only doing it because he wanted to make his dick look big for election season, even though it's highly unlikely he'll get a second term, and he bloody well knows it. Nicolas Sarkozy has more chance of getting re-elected than he does. Just saying. Alright, and Nicolas Sarkozy was done for what? Some kind of embezzlement, campaign fund bollocks? I don't care. He actually got didn't he get a suspended? No, he got house arrest, I think, or suspended sentence. Sarkozy did. But yeah, France has backed down on the majority of it, and
I haven't heard anything about how the French people feel about these constant fights between Britain. So maybe there's something to do with that.
There is one other detail, though. See, France have denied they've released the boat.
Oh.
But, and I'm going to link the article in the chat. That scallop vessel, that was already been it's in Le Havre. We've seen the boat. It has been released. What are you talking about?
Well, that's awkward.
Yeah, it's slightly awkward. Unless they're going to claim, I can't leave Le Havre. We can't have that. Shut up. It's a scallop boat, and you dragged it into your waters, you bitch. I will.
We had a similar small story apparently with Iranian shipping vessels.
Oh yeah,
which were quickly disputed. Iran says that we seized an oil tanker. We were like, no.
Did
I don't
you?
know actually what I don't know. I didn't look into it. I just heard that we got into an argument about it, and I was like, honestly, I don't care. Fuck you, Iran. Like, even if we did, I hope somebody spat on it.
I mean, it's better than sending some rather pathetic-looking French boats to deal with it. They look so they're so small. This is why Britannia rules the waves. And don't even try coming up with the American thing, because I saw it trending on Twitter that our commandos beat your who was it we beat? It was hilarious. After 2 days of a training exercise, we beat you at something. A military exercise of some kind. Where is it?
Have you seen what our fucking military has looked like in the last 2 to 4 years?
Right. Our Royal Marines force your US troops to surrender just 2 days into a training exercise.
Yeah, but have you seen what the fuck they're doing for recruiting? They're having Disney fucking princess recruiting videos talking about diversity instead of we're going to train you to defend your country for life, liberty, and honor.
So exercise Green Dagger took place at the U.S. Marine Corps 29 Palms Base in the someplace desert in Southern California. I can't even pronounce that. But they had to ask for a reset halfway into the 5-day war fighting, having suffered significant simulated casualties. Our commandos, you'd have if we'd asked for like 1 or 2 Gurkhas, you'd have been fucked. Just over. It made me chuckle anyway, because we don't normally brag about this. It was trending on Twitter in England because it's like one of those very rare things that crops up and we're like, yeah, that's right, suck it, America.
I wonder how many of our troops have actually retired or resigned because of the vaccine mandates before all of this happened.
Do you think that would have played a part? Or do you think that's just...
I think so. I think so.
I mean, that's reasonable to assume.
In a similar sense to the the defund the police movement, what you'll get good cops saying, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. I'm not being respected as an officer. My community hates me. I'm not going to do this anymore. And they leave. All you're left with is the bad cops.
I mean, that's a fair point. But our commandos still have a win. That's all that matters to us.
Oh no, I mean you guys definitely got the win.
It's long overdue. It's a few hundred years, in fact, overdue.
Yeah, well,
we're still salty.
Fair enough.
Still salty.
Oh, I'm sure.
Actually, I don't think we are. It's one of the strangest things. Whenever we hear about, is it your Independence? Is that what you got, Independence Day? People talk about throwing tea in the harbour and shit. We in Britain don't care that much. I think coffee's more popular here than tea. Also, we want you to succeed. We don't want you to fail, because we kind of need your stuff.
Oh, sorry. Talking about like former colonies and liberated areas. This isn't part of any of our comments, but it's a quick little thing that I want to get your opinion on.
Oh, go on.
Did you see the EU gone to Taiwan and said, we support you?
No, but I fully support this.
There was a contingent of lawmakers from Europe that went to Taiwan and said, we stand with you and your independence.
I kind of wonder.
And they even urged the EU to bolster legislatively support for Taiwan.
I'm kind of wondering if this might be punishment to China for what they've done, what many believe is their fault.
Yes. Interesting question.
But also, I mean, China own like the world's debt, don't they, or something? Maybe they're just like, you know what, let's just screw these guys, because if they call us on it, we're just not going to give it to them anyway.
I think the answer is maybe.
I don't think EU owe any money to people. It's very strange. I don't think they do. It's because they get.
Is the EU old enough to owe people money?
Well, I mean, in the sense that all their money comes from, from all the member states and all the money it's in that. all the trade deals, they get a cut of all these bits and bobs here and there. I don't think they have a debt. So perhaps they can be above it, and we'll say it many times over. We also stand with Taiwan, which means literally dick, of course, because we're nobodies here. But I like Taiwan. I think I still got toys from when I was a kid that still say "Made in Taiwan" because "Made in China" shit. The quality speaks for itself, or lack thereof.
Well, I know damn well that I still have things made in Taiwan, but my point is that these are independent countries, and I don't like China throwing its dick around, trying to be that oppressive for I don't even know why, because you think you're going to gain some economical win by taking Taiwan underneath China.
I'd like to see the EU pledge some kind of military aid in case Taiwan ever is invaded. That would be. I'm not the biggest fan of the EU. I'm really not. But in the context of this, and thank you, Carlos, for the reciting of the UK national anthem in the chat. For this day, anyway. I think it would be. Oh, yeah. I would stand with. I would fully support the EU if they did that. And I still think we need new Hong Kong over here. Yep. Bring all their buildings in the island. In fact, just give them the plot of water instead.
Agreed.
And Tibet. We'll take Tibet.
Yes, I stand with every country that has declared independence from fucking China, and China can suck a big one.
Honestly, you're aggressive. You're doing my head in.
True.
Just piss
Anyways,
off China.
Sorry, I didn't want to deter us too much, but
no. It is interesting. You're absolutely right. I did not know that. The only thing I saw that intrigued me in the UK, I was going to save it for a video. I've got two here, haven't I? Right. Jess Phillips talking. So trending on Twitter over here was Claudia Webb. Claudia Webb was a Labour MP. She's now an independent. And there's always one in many relationships very jealous of the partner if they have friends of the opposite sex, right? It's always that jealousy is very common. It's quite.
I was like, yeah, I don't know where you're going with this, but sure.
Yeah, it took me a second. It's quite common for this to happen. I just see it all the time. It's part and parcel. Okay, callback. And so I think that it's normal. But what isn't normal is when you then decide to threaten your friend's your partner's friend with acid, telling her you're going to throw acid in her face.
Oh, I remember this.
Yeah,
I remember reading about this. This happened like a week ago.
Well, no, what she did was ages ago, actually. But she was trending on the 4th because she was due to be sentenced. And she has been sentenced because she was found guilty of harassment. She was convicted of harassment. And she was given the almighty sentence of a 10-week stint in prison, suspended for 2 years.
Wow. Don't you just love it when fucking rich elite people don't get the same kind of treatment as everybody else?
I think it's just that standard of MPs.
I know that I'm sounding remarkably populist when I say that, but oh my god, it pisses me off so much when I hear about
she believed that she was a victim in the sense that, and I remember her saying this, that she was a black woman being tried in a white person's court, and that since this has all happened, she has become. Oh, hang on, is it her? No. No, but yeah, she believed she was a black woman being tried in a white court, and that she would end up, being sent to prison for life or something. I'm like, you threatened to throw, acid in her face, along with also threatening to send naked images of the woman to that person's family.
At one point.
Yeah. Like, how mucked up are you in the head? Should this be a halls of injustice? I think it might become one. Yes.
It might still be.
Because it's interesting enough. It's nowhere near as entertaining as the one my sister sent me during the week. No lie. At dinner, my sister gave me a topic because there was a video of a police cam arrest that was so. I mean, the subject, it was a murder, but the police cam arrest video is so fucking funny. I've never actually laughed at something so inappropriate in my life. But I'll have to tell you about that after the stream because it's far too funny. She's still with the guy, by the way. Still with the guy that, had the friend that she threatened to do all these things to. I find that quite interesting. But you know what? You do you, boo. She does also, as a punishment, have to do 200 hours of unpaid work and pay just over $3,000 in costs and surcharges. No doubt she can claim that on expenses. She was, prior to becoming an MP, a councillor in Islington, which is the area where Jeremy Corbyn is. She was a big Corbynista. She's only been an MP since 2019. And already she's been kicked out of her own party, right? And is an independent, which means at the 2024 election, there is a guarantee here. What is the guarantee for an independent MP based on what we remember for 2019 with independent MPs that left their own respective parties and formed a new one? What happened next?
Didn't none of them get elected?
Boom! Circle gets the square. They are all out of a job, and she will be too because it's a Labour safe seat. They will want to take that seat back, and she's not in the party anymore unless she manages to get a job back.
I guess history would say that it's actually more likely that a Conservative will take that seat than an Independent.
I would agree. And in that
just
context,
based on
yes.
Historical elections in the last.
However, you are forgetting one key detail, and that is Jeremy Corbyn's there. That is Islington is a Labour safe haven. It's impregnable. It's a socialist heaven, quite frankly.
Oh, okay, it's Portland. Got it.
Yeah, it is untouchable, unassailable. There is no version of any future where Tories can take it yet. They won't be able to for quite some time until that kind of poison that was being espoused by the likes of Jeremy Corbyn is gone, and he's not quitting anytime soon. Although, to be fair, the guy is quite old, so it'll be whenever he just.
Yeah, but they never give up power.
No, they don't. But it'll be interesting. That'll be a lifetime away, I think.
I hope not.
Oh, I just want to read the chat for a second. I say let the United States annex Taiwan and Hong Kong, then turn around and allow them to become a state of the United States that would royally annoy the Chinese and Winnie the Pooh. Yes, I fully I agree.
I don't know if we would ever do that because we wouldn't even take in Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic right now.
I would say you don't need to do that because if memory serves, you guys still have land in Japan that you don't really need. You still have it though as a strategic thing. You could apply that logic to Taiwan and Hong Kong. Strategic.
Yeah, I guess so.
In the same sense. Although I still think
we have actually gotten in trouble for even remotely bringing our forces into Taiwan just to train Taiwanese people. The Chinese have gotten very, very upset. We did that in the last couple of weeks.
My apologies, Green Sun, you're right. I read the article and you're right. She was a councillor in Islington, not an MP. Correction, thank you.
How do I say that? Leicester?
Leicester.
Bullshit.
Yeah, it's Leicester.
Bullshit.
Yeah, and the county is Leicestershire.
Oh, fuck.
Which to you is a state, I guess. But yeah, correction. She was MP for Leicester. Well, one of the Leicester districts, not Leicester itself. Was it Leicester North? Leicester East. Sorry. Yeah, I had to quickly go look. Thank you for that. I think annexing. Oh, and hello everyone in the chat. Sorry for not saying hello. I know some people. I did notice a few new people. I do appreciate that. That's all for the English stuff for the day. Where do you want to start with all the victories for you?
So I want to first start with New Jersey because that one wasn't technically a win.
No, is that the one with Ed Durr?
Well, actually, I wanted to start with Phil Murphy, the governorship. Okay.
Okay, right, yeah. So, I didn't know about this.
No, Phil Murphy is, as my father and I describe him, well, I'm not going to use all those words, but we'll just use the word dictator. We won't use the other words that my dad and I talk about, but he's a dictator in New Jersey, basically, right? And he is the first Democrat to ever have gotten reelected in the last 44 years.
Really?
Yeah. Now, he won with a small margin, 2.3 percentage points.
Okay.
That's 50.8 for Murphy and 48.5 for Jack. Ciattarelli? Chattarelli? Yeah, Chattarelli.
Confidence.
Italians.
Okay.
And and so Phil Murphy's a cunt. And he's one of the people who is pushing for vaccine mandates. He is an actual nightmare human being. And right now, Jack has not conceded.
Oh.
He's probably going to ask for a recount, which is, I think it's probably reasonable, actually, considering how close this shit is. Because it's not like too far out of the realm of possibility.
Okay.
In my opinion, I don't think that 2.3 percentage points is that out of the realm of possibility. And we also have to remember, if we're going to talk about states that potentially have any sort of corruption, if New Jersey isn't one of the first ones that you think of, you're just delusional.
My first thought was like Vegas, but then I realized all the casinos pretty much had that locked down.
Yeah, I was gonna say Vegas is actually really regulated.
I was just making a shit joke, to be honest.
But Jersey has had corruption scandals. There's even one in Edgewater that happened within the last year, where the town council literally was not allowing other people to build buildings unless it was through a certain builder. And when pressed on it at a town council meeting, the guy basically said was basically escorted out for asking the questions to the town council, who are all in the pockets of the builder.
I just like the meme map of New Jersey that has all the regions, like regions 1 to 4, and all the types of regions, and they name them like certain types. Like you've got the top, very north, vast wilderness of rednecks and retired hippies. To the east, you got the hill people. And then right in the crook you got
the map is real.
You got hipsters on the right. You got the melting pot. You got just an area called Jews.
Yep.
Italian guys in white beaters.
The area that is labeled Jews used to be an entirely old Italian.
Or the vast majority in the middle, pioneers everywhere. Or in the southeast, pretty much Alabama. Or sad black people and misguided tourists. That's one of my favorite things about New Jersey. Okay.
I actually, as you were going through them, I'm like, I know exactly which areas he's talking about.
Yeah, you can just about see him as well.
Out in the left, in the hill people.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Fucking Camden out in the back, and Patterson and Newark are all the sad black people. And
there was on a TV show called How I Met Your Mother. There was a running joke about, because they're obviously all in Manhattan, and the running joke was that New Jersey was shit. So that every time they went to the toilet, they would say, "I'm about to go drop a massive New Jersey." And I'm sat here like, in this country, we just say Jersey because that is an actual place, and we're happy to dump on it. So it's nice to see we keep something going. You just put the word "new" in front of it.
Yeah, same. It's the same shit. So anyway, I'm interested to see how this one goes. But also in New Jersey, we have a state senate race that I guess none of the Democrats were paying attention to, because I didn't hear about this until after the dude won. And I believe his name is Durr, D-U-R-R.
Edward Durr.
Yes.
A bin man, a lorry driver.
Yes, after spending under $300 on his campaign.
153 to be exact.
Yeah, thank you. I did not have the number, and I couldn't
I've
remember if it
just pulled
was
the tweet up.
200.
It's all good. I have it on Sinatra's tweet from an AP article,
Mm. The man wins,
which is,
and no one knew
I mean,
anything about him.
it's state senate, so that's not the Senate in DC, is it?
It's not in DC. No.
Right.
What that would be is is basically like your local politics. If you have, New Jersey's laws are going to be decided partially by this man.
Yeah, and then you've got the governor. I guess is like top dog in the state that they report to. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, you have a flow down of the same structures.
Trickle down politics.
As you go down in our system. So you
Okay.
have, governors are essentially the president of that state. Right?
Gotcha.
So yeah, they came out with a bunch of smears after the fact. Let's see if I can pull up a CNN.
Happy for this guy, by the way, because he's just a truck driver. And that's brilliant.
Yeah, he's just a truck.
He's legit. He is legit. Just a workers' man thing,
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm totally down with this dude winning because, honestly,
It's funny.
I see no downside to this at all.
It makes me laugh too much, but also it's interesting to me because I don't know much about New Jersey's politics. So, how often are they more a blue state or a red state? Are they a swing state?
So New Jersey is primarily a blue state.
Okay, so this is
also
different.
why the Phil Murphy election is so interesting. But they are primarily a blue state, and by and large, I think that the situation surrounding this guy was probably largely unknown because they simply didn't think about this guy. I don't think they were even remotely on somebody's radar.
Yeah.
And I want to point out, by the way, the person they upset was the longtime state Senate president in New Jersey.
Oh.
The second most powerful lawmaker in New Jersey.
Oh. Well, that's unfortunate.
So what I'm guessing is that they were so convinced that it was going to be a non-issue that they didn't even think twice about it, and that was a big oops.
I did see. Was it one article? I think I saw people referencing these losses here and there as a ruining of Joe Biden's European tour.
Yeah, I heard about that, and I don't
I'll be
know
honest,
what that has to do.
I would have thought him shitting himself would have done it, to be honest. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, true.
Allegedly.
Well, no. Well, okay. Fair enough. But I think that I think it happened. So I don't consider it allegedly.
It is. It's official on this stream. We believe Joe Biden crapped himself. Just saying.
Yeah, totally. And kind of like how he's not sleeping; he's just resting his eyes.
Oh, that video! I did put it in the on our server tab because I was like, "This is bullshit." I'm watching this back, and I'm like, "He's asleep." People are like, he closed his eyes to get in the atmosphere of the event, and I was sat there like, "What atmosphere?
Said who?
What atmosphere?"
Who?
I'm sorry. Do you suddenly think you're desensitizing yourself to something? Shut the fuck up.
Oh my god!
Just stop lying, all right?
That is actually insanity that somebody would even dare say, "Oh, they're engaged." Atmosphere, my fucking ass, dude.
Honestly, it was cringe.
But okay, so this election by elections had a bunch of upsets, not just the ones in New Jersey, but also in Virginia.
So, for those who don't know, the only thing I know about Virginia before this was Chris Chan. That's the only thing I knew about this state. I also thought it was
Good.
I also thought for the longest time that it was a red state. So I was wrong, found out to be wrong for quite a while. It surprised me a bit when I found out what it was.
Okay.
In the sense that it hasn't been red for a while.
Ah. Okay.
I felt a bit
I was
stupid.
like, what do you mean? Um.
Sorry, I should have been clear. I was fiddling with my fingers.
That's okay. So yeah. So we've got. It was Glenn Youngkin versus who the fuck was the other dude? McAuliffe, Terry McAuliffe, and um we had the upset that most parents wanted, because I'm going to give it to the parents for doing this one.
Yeah, people are angry
They
about
were
this.
able. Ooh, yeah, they were.
They
Um,
made.
the parents made this happen.
They
Okay?
did.
If you didn't watch the U.S. news cycle within the past couple months, you may not be familiar with the place called Loudoun County. Now, Loudoun County has been in the forefront of almost all of our politics for quite a few news cycles at this point. We're talking about from the instance in which Merrick Garland, our Attorney General, allegedly receives indications from the School Board Association that school board officials are being threatened. And so Merrick Garland sets out a memo that he will treat parents as domestic terrorists for those who are threatening school board officials. When asked, by the way, by the both houses, actually, he was unable to produce the threats.
Yeah.
Similarly, if we were to go into the the stories, I'm going to have to be very, very careful with how I'm phrasing this one. There was a story in which a individual was accused of sexually assaulting a 15-year-old girl, and then was taken from that school and placed in another school to then do it again.
That's quite the allegation.
Not for the purpose of to do it again, but it happened that way, that the person did it again.
Right.
To be very clear with how I phrase
It sounds really. Is it an
Well, the only
allegation
reason-
or?
No, the judge has found them guilty.
Oh shit.
However, this is why Steven Crowder got a strike on his channel and got banned from.
Oh, please don't get us fucking struck, man.
Right. So I'm not saying all the words, but this was also a major issue. And the concerned parent of this girl went up there and had a very, very angry conversation at the school board meeting.
Yeah.
And when they escorted them out via police, more people got upset. There was a viral video. More people then showed up. More people heard about it. More people got angry. And thus you've mobilized the entire parents of Loudoun County against Democrats. Because...
So there's something else to add to this with Democrats cocking up here. There was a pamphlet being handed out during this election, and it had on it, Glenn Youngkin, Donald J. Trump endorsed. Glenn has my complete and total endorsement. They said this guy is like Donald Trump. I said thank you very much. President Trump represents so much of why I'm running. We'll take back Virginia. Glenn will truly make Virginia great again. Virginia is very, very winnable, but everybody has to go out and vote. On the back, paid for by the Democratic Party of Virginia. They tried to use Trump.
Sounds like the best ad. That sounds like the best ad for Republicans ever.
Authorized by Terry McAuliffe.
Yeah, isn't it funny that they use taxpayer dollars to pay for
tried
ads that show up
tried to poison the well with Trump's name, and it backfired. And I can add to this, by the way, with a bit of coke for you. You want to hear some salt from Jamel Hill, blue check mark. It's not the messaging, folks. This country simply loves white supremacy.
Oh yeah.
Reply underneath. Winsome Sears for Lieutenant Governor.
She is the Lieutenant Governor.
Battle tested conservative Semper Fi.
And to describe this picture, because we don't have it on screen, to describe the picture that he's referring to.
You know which one I'm talking about, don't you?
Oh, I do. It is a black lady holding, presumably, an AR-15 type rifle for the uninitiated.
It's a big pew pew. Definitely not enough gun.
Yeah, it's a big black pew pew.
Hang on. It's got careful there.
Yeah.
I like that.
And it's just right underneath Jamel Hill's comment. It's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it is. It's brilliant.
Yeah, and it's also bullshit.
The replies, I think so. Someone here, Sherm Tillman. I don't agree. That's why we lost tonight. Democrats have gone too far left. Come back to the centre or watch this happen in the midterms. Jamel's reply, in your opinion, what have Dems proposed? Actual legislation? Is that too far left? She kind of got ratioed in the reply. Just going to leave it there with that. But the amount of pictures of Winsome Sears? Yeah. There's so many in that tweet. There are so many replies of people just posting that picture like, the fuck are you talking about? Is she token then? Is that what she is to you?
The thing is, the answer, they'll never admit it, but the answer to them is yes.
At this point, you're a racist party. You can't fight racism by being racist, all right?
No, that's exactly what they are.
Such a collective. Come on.
It is, and the fact that now we are moving into an area in which, by the way, for American politics, everything that is evil is right wing.
Yeah, I've noticed
that. The way that you smear right wing is by calling them racist. That is the worst thing that you can call somebody in today's modern era, is racist. Because the mob will come after you as a racist. However, they've run into a bit of an issue. They've run into the issue in which minorities are agreeing with the right wing. Therefore, the right wing being racist based on their own words, which was at the time, black people can't be racist. What they would be is colorist, because racism equals institutionalized power plus
structures
privilege.
Of power.
Yeah. So they would be technically unable to be racist. What they've had to do is they've had to invent a new issue. And that issue is the internalized white supremacy. I don't know if you have noticed, but certain individuals have been posting about on Twitter.
I've noticed. Don't you worry, I noticed.
That, you see, white isn't actually a skin color. It's a way of being.
It sounds very Mark Zuckerberg.
How you were raised. It was how you were raised. And if that seems confusing to you, you're not alone.
Oh,
everyone is confused.
Yeah.
And that is how they are currently trying to now smear it. It's kind of the same thing with what's his face? The gentleman who was running in oh god, what's his name? The radio talk show host. Can't remember his name. The one they threw a banana at.
I actually don't remember, but I know you're talking about.
You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay. For whatever reason, right, that individual was the face of white supremacy, the black face of white supremacy.
Oh, you're talking about the British one?
No.
Is it the guy in California?
Yeah.
The monkey mask woman?
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. Jeez, I know you're talking. Now it has actually slipped my mind. Bailey? Daly?
No. Hold on. I'm gonna look it up because I'm mad that I can't remember it.
Elder.
Larry Elder. Larry Elder.
Yeah, Raps Chick wins. Your
Oh, did somebody
prize
get it
your
to me?
prize is timed out in my
Yeah, fuck
chat.
yeah. Good job, Raps Chick. You got it to me before I could even look it up.
I'm going to
and
time you
I'm
out now
like
as your
5
prize.
seconds
You're
ahead.
well done. Well done. You get timed
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. But anyways, this he was the black face of white supremacy. They said.
I remember that.
That's
We had that
fucking
here
weird.
with we had this here with the conservative candidate for mayor. People like I think his name was Bailey or something, some kind of Bailey. And they were like he represents the internalization of the party's racism. And I'm like,
Yeah.
are you sure about that?
They have to do that because they have made a system in which the worst thing you can be is racist, but black people can't be racist. So they need to somehow investigate how to make this both work.
Yeah.
And right now, the only way that they know how to do that is by lying. I actually had made a tweet the other day. It was, why lie? And the answer is because of control, right?
It's
The
always about
reason why
control. It's like a freaking, it's like a movie with villains, always about control.
That's essentially what they are. They are essentially like the worst supervillains.
Oh, that's cringe. They need cloaks.
Politicians are the worst supervillains. But they're also some of the most effective.
You mentioned, so I just want to, this is going to sound a bit strange. I had this thought this morning, and it's a really strange thought. And I might lose my way a little bit, so do forgive me. It's probably an odd tangent. That over the course of history, there's always going to be, there've always been, and there always will be reactionaries. And in the past, they, for the most part, could be proven, let's say, wrong. Because it was that idea of progressive and regressive. Let's go with that, yeah? So as society progressed, others that were very much against it were considered reactionary and they were in the wrong. But now it's not that case at all. Now it's a case of the reactionaries are the ones that claim to be the progressive, but they are demonstrably wrong. They can be proven wrong so badly. I find it very strange that actually no, this does work actually. As the years have gone by, the what has been deemed acceptable now. No, I've lost my way again. No. I know where I'm going. It's fine. What has been deemed progressive, regressive, correct, wrong, reactionary, not reactionary, has been shifted just because of what where someone's drawn their line and said, no, this is right, and I'm not moving. And then enough people there who are in let's say power for a moment are there enough to say that this is correct enough times that they have enough support from outlets that will push this as if it's progressive when in reality it is still, by any sense of the imagination, still regressive.
Oh, absolutely. I know. I understand where you're going now.
Oh, thank fuck for that, because I had this thought this morning.
Yeah. The idea that if you repeat something enough times, even if every other metric will tell you that it's not true.
Yeah.
If you repeat it enough times and enough people join you and agree, then yes, you can basically say anything and make anything true. There was actually that's actually how they did certain torture methods when POWs would be captured.
Oh, really?
They would say, yeah, they would slowly whittle away and say, okay, well, you don't agree that America is great, right? No, America's great. Well, how can it be great? It does these things, right? Yes. Okay, say that again. Oh, America does these things. Okay. And then they leave. Say it again. Say it again. Say it again. Now, do you still think America's great? Well, maybe not so much. Well, they also do this. Now say that. Now say this one. And eventually they'll whittle you down to where you don't even believe it anymore.
I'm glad you got the point.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, it is why they're always online monologuing, and it's why they refuse to back down when faced with objective facts. Like, they hate statistics, but they love figureheads, right? They love individuals who are part of a larger apparatus. We'll take Fauci as an example, that can interpret the things for you. There were a bunch of articles that came out, and they're currently still circulating around Facebook. It's a collection of 3 articles that basically say "Don't do your own research" is the headline.
Oh,
What they're
right.
basically saying
Now,
is,
no, now I know what Ethan Klein was talking about. Oh, he was talking about whenever people say, he tweeted out, "Do your own research." People say this when there's objective scientific fact in front of you, and then blah 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 blah. They're grifting hacks, blah blah, fence sitters. Okay, that makes more sense now. Thank you.
Mhm. But basically, the do your own research, it has been corrupted. The idea has been corrupted because the idea of doing your own research has now been kind of considered conspiracy, right?
Oh, it's
That's
taboo.
where we
Yeah,
are right now with it. Like
it's
if I told you I did my own research on something, they'll
yeah.
go, "Oh, okay,
I just
yeah,
want
I
to
believe you."
I just want to add, if you say to someone, "Do your own research," they go ahead and do some research, and then you decide to tear those sources apart. Either either the sources are invalid because of actual genuinely they're not good sources, or you deny the source's validity because of your own confirmation bias.
Both can be true.
Yeah, I mean there are other options, I'm sure, but they're the 2 obvious ones. And let's face it, when it comes to what we're seeing at the moment, science denying, I would normally associate with those there are types of it, I guess. But when I think of science deniers, I usually think of anti-vaxxers, and it depends on the type of vaccine. Yes, it does.
You also can't use that word
don't.
anymore because
Yeah, true.
that word got its definition changed.
Oh no! Don't. Of course, it fucking did. Please don't think I'm talking about coronavirus or anything like that. No, no. I'm just saying that's the first thing I think of. But then when I think about it, when it comes to the economics, the world stage, anything that's not that, I don't think of let's say more right-leaning people. I think of more left-leaning people because, generally speaking, when it comes to being presented with actual fact on societal issues or on economics, on cultural problems, generally speaking, the science deniers aren't the ones on the right, and that's based on UK standard. Anyway, I don't know if that's the case in America or not.
Well,
but
they
it
used
is.
to be. The right used to be the deniers of things. But that's changed for some reason. I don't know what the reason is, but for some reason that has changed.
What's that
Because I don't
regressive
know if
progressive thing again? It still doesn't. I don't get it. It's all switched around.
Well, I don't know if you remember, but you know, in the 1900s,
It's a while back, but yeah.
30 or 40 years ago, remember it was the right that was saying that metal, led to devil worship. D&D was akin to devil worship.
Play Ozzy backwards, and he's singing something devil-like, isn't he?
Right, basically. And this is the same boogeyman that progressives still believe they're fighting to this day. But that hasn't been true for many individuals who identify right for a while now. But they still believe it to be insane. They still believe the right to be the same kind of people who don't like fun as the regressive Christians of the 80s.
Just want to add, I have played Ozzy backwards before, and the only thing I can say with absolute certainty is songs sound way cool with a solo at the start, and Ozzy makes way more sense when you play him backwards.
Oh, good.
Must be
I'm
the
glad
drugs.
that you have that. Yeah, you got that for me.
Yeah.
I needed that confirmation.
I just do what I can to help people. All right, it's nothing to do with me getting incredibly drunk at uni and just doing that. Oh, lols.
But yeah, so that is actually and also Garrett's right. We've become so progressive that segregation is being considered in some states. Yeah, some of the individuals who are large activists are saying that actually segregation is is what they want.
I now need to just say, clearly you came in at the wrong time, Ruben, because I also said, please don't straw man. But okay, thank you. Carry on. That's it.
Oh, I just read that now. I'm like,
All leftists,
what now?
okay? All of them. Every single one of them.
Yep.
They're all
Yep,
science deniers.
True.
You
All
prick.
leftists,
That's
all
not what
deniers.
I said at all, but alright.
Yep, that's that.
Oh,
That's,
no, sorry, I don't mean
no.
that. No, carry on, please.
Okay. Though I might say that, but it has to be a little bit more specific, in my opinion.
Okay,
Not
okay.
all the time. No sweeping generalizations here.
I just found it fascinating that that pen, it just seemed to have flipped, a coin had flipped around, and I just found that fascinating with the popular, the politics that was being pushed, if anything, that as correct from either side, really, that it seemed to be the other way round, which made no sense to me.
Well, if you really want to get into why all of it's happened, it's because every issue is now fully entrenched in some sort of politics, right?
Okay.
One of the comments, like for example, right now they're doing the Build Back Better bill, right?
Is that still going through, or are they still stalling on it?
So Nancy Pelosi said earlier that she was trying to get a vote in by today, but I don't think that's fucking happening.
I had heard that there was a rumor, I don't know if this is true or not, that a lot of Republican backers or something were sending money to, what was her name? The one who got accosted in the bathroom. Cinema? Yeah. I don't know if that was true or not, though.
Probably. A whole bunch of people were like, hey, that's fucked up. Here's some money.
Yeah.
Here's some money for your trouble.
Yeah. It's a bit of a strange one.
I fully believe that to be true.
I don't know enough about the Build Back Better plan, to be honest.
So basically,
it's expensive though.
Yes, it is. Basically, what I've gathered is that the Build Back Better plan is the progressive wish list, right? And the infrastructure deal was the bipartisan agreement that they had whittled down from the $3 trillion. I think it's now sitting about a 1.75. That was the thing that Biden had to cave on paid family leave.
Yeah, that was the thing that Meghan Markle was requesting. She went to Schumer and Pelosi about it to try and get them to keep that on, because I think
that was actually one of the only things that made sense.
Is that what we call that maternity leave, don't we, or paternity leave? Right.
Well, we have maternity leave in some places, but it's individual as per the company's own policy.
Oh,
they want to make it a
we have it as a right in this country. So,
yeah,
I mean, we have that. It's a bit of a. I mean, this is where I don't understand your economic stuff. Thank you, Ruben. Sorry for being rude to you. I don't understand your country enough to know if these things could be implemented or whether it should be done at a state level instead. Because I think it's far too complicated, too big.
The question comes down to is, whom do you want to foot the bill? Because right now it's up to different companies, because by and large they're going to be the ones who have to pay somebody's salary to take 2, 3, 4 weeks off to be with their kids.
Right.
Especially in terms of paternity leave. We're not even talking about maternity leave because that thing just deserves to be a thing, right?
Right.
But if we're talking about like paternity leave, somebody's got to pay that guy to not work for however long.
Okay.
So whether or not you want to pay that with tax money, or you want to have a company foot the bill for it, that's where we are right now on it. And as you'd imagine, some companies don't want to take that and don't want to do that, which is their prerogative. It's the money that they are having to spend.
So I don't. I'm kind of curious in the UK. I don't know how it works over here. But I did just Google, and the first thing that came up is the Federal Employee Paid Leave Act gives workers access up to 12 weeks of paid time off for the birth, adoption, or placement of a new child. Um, but I don't know. It didn't come up with the UK one explaining it. I was hoping to know whether or not. I assume in our case, it it's one of those things where it must come out of taxes here. It must come out of taxes because companies. I mean, companies will pay some of it. I know they pay they must pay some of it. But there's no way they're paying all of it because maternity leave over here is quite long. Paternity, not so much. Maternity, though, quite long. So I don't think they're paying the whole thing.
I agree with Chaos here in the chat. Here says if moms get it, so should dads. I
So
agree.
dads do get paternity leave over here, but it's not as long as maternity leave. I think it's only a few weeks for dads because equality. But also, I get why at the same time, but I think it's a strange one.
Well, specifically, the reason why dads should get it is we can't discriminate based on sex,
I agree.
and we're pushing an agenda right now that well, we need to be better about this. And I'm like, you know what? Fair.
For the sake of it, I would say like if you're not going to give it to men, but you are to women, then surely it is obviously that is a bit sexist. I do think so. In my head, I don't know how I'm going to phrase this. Give me a second. The woman has pushed something out or had something removed from their body, either pushed or surgically. And don't say the word; it makes me cringe like no tomorrow. The body has become they've become a war zone of sorts, and they need time to recover. Fully respect that. I know the process has changed. That should obviously be dealt with, and they should be given time to recover from that. At the same time, if they're recovering, they do need someone there to assist them. If they have a partner, then of course you'd want that partner with them, so they can be the they can be that. They can be the either the mother or the father, depending on the relationship, of course.
See, I don't even stop there. I would say that even there is a crucial bonding time that happens when a child is born, and there is a crucial bonding time that women who take maternity leave get to share with their kids that parents that fathers don't always get to do.
Yeah,
and I think that's wrong because, I mean, they should be a part. They do. A lot of them do want to be a part of the child's upbringing. Right?
Of course.
And to not have them be a part of that because you won't pay them to, spend time with their kids, I feel like that's a little fucked up.
Yeah, I will say, just because it made me chuckle. I remember when my older sister, she went down the route of IVF. Now she doesn't have a man in her life that was a donor. And I remember the last thing I said to her before she went, because she'd never had a kid before, and I simply said, "By the way, it could take days." And then I said bye, which I thought was funny, because she was in the car screaming. But when she gave birth, a friend of the family who stays at the weekends, he walks into the room where the baby is, now my niece, and he says, "I'm the first man you've ever seen in your life. I'm now your dad." And he's not. I thought it was great. Because he's probably like the most manly figure in her life anyway. Because I'm the alternative, and I'm me. I'm just hired muscle. That's all.
I was gonna say you sold yourself under there. I didn't have to do shit.
I'm self-deprecating. It's British, okay? We just do it.
Fair enough. But no,
culture.
But yeah, even the chat knows where it's at right now.
It's
they get it.
It's a talking point I remember from when certainly my earlier YouTube years with the honey badgers as well. Men's rights movement was a big thing back then. I fully agree with it. It's why there was a big push for paternity leave over here. I know that it's improved a lot as far as timing goes. A lot of guys I know that had the option didn't take it because I think they have a struggle, because there is still obviously a lot of guys still struggle with that aspect of being a father, I guess, early on. Maybe might be a
Especially
maturity
if they're
thing.
if they're new fathers, I can
Yeah,
understand the
yeah,
apprehension.
I think so. So they want to be busy and working because I think they find that as an easy way to cope with the fact they're no longer free. I don't
I
know.
don't know if that's it, but maybe.
No. I'm just joking. I wouldn't know for certain, of course. I have no vested interest or horse in this race, so it's just observation at best.
Hmm.
But I tended to agree with Markle on the idea of paid parent leave or whatever it was called. So I was quite surprised it got yeeted. I'd love to know which politicians had to be sated to get that removed, to get them to support.
Right? See, now that was my comment. I was wondering who the fuck fought against that,
Because
because
it's a
I want
reasonable
to have
one.
a conversation with them, because
Maybe they wanted a
you know
duck pond or something. And they're like, give me a duck
maybe.
pond and I'll support this. Or
But I mean,
maybe
if there's a detail there that I'm missing,
it
like
might be the
this would be
simpler one.
funded through
Like,
tax
well,
money, and
well,
we don't want to do that.
it might be that, but it might be just like Occam's razor. It's a massive financial bill. If
True.
you want to
True.
cut it a little, cut the fat a little bit, that's fine. But it's still a massive bill. I mean, it's a huge bill, and if he got it through, it's a huge deal for his presidency.
Mm.
Whether or not in a positive or negative, that is, of course, for you Americans to tell me. But I'm sure there'll be
True.
arguments over it. To me, it just sounds like a massive spending bill, and I don't know if that's good or bad until we see it implemented or rejected.
And to the comment about Mansion and Cinema, I don't know if they were strictly against paid family leave, or they were just against the overt spending and they said cut it down. That's kind of where Meg was just going with that.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Because that's a reasonable question to have regarding certain situations. Like, okay, while yes, I agree with this, maybe also right now we don't need to push this bill. Like, because remember, any of these bills, any of these pieces of this bill can go into Congress at any time. They can make this bill, like just this part, at any given point, right? And if it's truly something that everyone agrees with, it'll be the simplest bill to pass through.
So, according to what I'm reading, things that Cinema wants, she wants to upgrade the nation's roads. She wants the social safety net bill to cost less. She is skeptical about raising corporate or individual taxes. She is skeptical of a prescription drug pricing measure to help pay for the bill. She wants to push for climate change proposals. And she wants to know a lot of details about specific programs. Apparently, according to a Washington Post article, which I've quickly looked up, I will archive it and post it in the chat for those who are interested. So again, I'm just going to address Ruben. $1 trillion over a decade and not a single year. That's true. But again, I don't know your economy to know whether or not this is big or not over the course of however many years it's spent.
Oh, it's insanely large. It's still bigger than the New Deal.
The Green New Deal?
Which was the FDR New Deal.
I didn't think the Green New Deal got through.
It didn't, not yet.
Okay.
But it's still larger than FDR's New Deal. And even that was the largest infrastructure bill that we've ever pushed through at the time.
Right. Okay.
It's so much so that it's actually something that is known in history, right?
Okay.
Now, what needs to be mentioned about this though is that these bills don't come independent, right?
What do you mean?
Right now, the progressive wing of the Democratic Party refuse to pass infrastructure, which has gone through a lot of bipartisan bullshit, without passing the Build Back Better bill. The Build Back Better bill is still being negotiated, and many of them haven't even read it yet because the information is not yet out there. Nancy Pelosi has been famously counted as saying in the past during the Obamacare push that we need to pass the bill to find out what's in it.
That does not. No, people
That's
can't make
not how that
informed.
works.
You can't. If that's true, you can't make an informed decision on that. That's not right.
Well, that's the thing. That's how the Obamacare went through,
Is it?
and that's yeah.
It sounds like the
That's
European
why it didn't go
Union
great.
when the EU voted on some things, and people were talking about was it Sargon and Dankula were there, and they said that many of the people who voted on things didn't even know what they were voting on. Like,
All the time.
that's not good.
No, and it's a terrible way to run a country.
Yes.
But right now, the only thing that's left in the infrastructure bill, I think, is mostly human infrastructure stuff. I think there's some roads and bridges, but it's a very minuscule part of it. I still think they have some things on electric car manufacturing.
Well, let's get good. Let's keep up with Elon Musk, I guess.
I don't know what else was in it. They had released the infrastructure bill's notes, I think, about a week ago,
Right.
but I don't remember exactly all the things that was in it. It was a 1,600-page fucking document.
It's a lot of reading. And
Yeah, and they wanted them to just pass it on. No, it's fine, I promise.
it sounds like a ball ache.
Oh, what?
A ball ache. Pain in the ass.
Oh. Yeah, true. But that is politics right now, and it was something that Biden had wanted to do before he went to the EU. Or I'm sorry, to I guess yeah, the Roman conference, in Scotland and Glasgow. His European tour. That's the fucking thing I was trying to say.
Yeah, European
Um,
tour.
it was that reason that he wanted to get all those things passed, because I guess he thought that people would look at him poorly if he didn't get these things passed before he went.
I mean,
I
it's going to be interesting to see if this gets through.
Right. They keep making press conferences talking about how they've come to an agreement, but we've yet to see the agreement actually become anything. So I
Okay.
don't know how in agreement they all are at the moment. Unfortunately.
Just want to ask a
Or
question because based on the chat from Peter, majority of both parties want real healthcare reform, but it's blocked by the biggest lobby in DC. What is Peter talking about?
Big Pharma.
Oh, is that big? Right. Okay. So
Yeah.
big pharma.
So
I thought it was a generalized term. I didn't realize it was a lobby thing.
the biggest lobby would be pharmaceutical companies. They control the majority of the money in the back pockets of senators. These individuals have so much power of Senate that actually it is the reason why many things fail.
Whenever I see people talking about tearing down systems of power and all that, and I roll my eyes a little bit, and then you tell me this, part of me thinks I need to stop rolling my eyes for a second because that's bullshit.
There are systemic structures of power that are in place to actually put down people, but they're never the systems that they go after. Like, for example, they were almost right with the DOJ, right? The Department of Justice.
Yeah.
The justice system has a long history of being, in general, much more cruel to black and brown individuals than it was to white people. But I said, hold on, you're not going far enough. It's also very bad to men and not women in comparison. The justice system in general, what that means is that that system is actually just fucked in general. And we need to work through that. So don't just stop there. There's more. Is really where I go down to.
Right.
So we have more things to do with that justice system. It's not just drug charges, but drug charges are also bad. Minor possession shouldn't land you in prison, for example. And not only that, but it should not make you a felon. Minor possession shouldn't take away your ability to own a firearm, shouldn't take away your ability to vote in national elections. But in some cases, this does happen, and that's wrong because I don't think that drugs, minor possession, like let's say I'm a kid in college and I get caught like 3 times with like a gram because I'm at a party. That shouldn't mean that I can't vote anymore. That's bullshit, straight up. Um, and that happens. That legitimately happens. But that's just part of the systems. There are plenty of
Hmm.
others. Pharmacy is really bad. The one that people will talk about the most is that insulin costs as much as it does in this country.
Is
Which,
it?
if you don't have insurance, it can cost you hundreds of dollars.
That's not good. Based on our, this is, I guess, one of those times where we, even though we obviously complain about everything in our country, we just dab on you by saying we don't do that here.
As you shouldn't. It's really fucked up if you did.
It is really fucked up, actually.
Actually had a friend last year who died. Um, he went to the same LARP that I went to, and he died because he could not get access to his insulin.
I'm really sorry for your friend.
That's all right. It's been a year, so the pain isn't as fresh as it was back then. But those things totally are an issue and totally need to be addressed.
Yeah,
But that's what he means when he says the biggest lobby in DC. It's the people who are keeping
right.
insulin prices.
Well,
down
that
for
does
dollars.
that does help me because I don't understand most things. We've been doing this for years.
Basically, there the progressives are never fully wrong. I want to point that out. There's always an inkling of truth, but they usually are too hyper focused in one piece, and it causes a massive misunderstanding and a miscommunication of their goals. So until they are able to figure out how to properly get their message across and actually talk about it in a way that everyone is willing to work with. So like if we were just going to fix that issue right there with insulin, I think a lot more people would be like, "Yeah, let's do that. I agree." Instead of uh y'all white people are racist and that black man who agrees with the conservative opinion is the black face of white supremacy. We need less activists like that and more like the former. So people like Jamel Hill, fuck
Hmm.
off.
Or at least you're honest.
I do my best. All right. Well, I think we're pretty much done then.
I believe so.
Do you have anything to shill before we go?
I shall be streaming tomorrow on the YouTube channel Omegon Plays, some Euro Truck Simulator, because I'm exciting. Yo. That's
Hmm.
it.
And if you haven't yet, please follow us on Spotify. We have a nice little graphic now. I like that. Um,
Oh yeah, I did. I put that in a week or so ago, and I forgot to mention it.
mhm. So if you would be so kind as to follow us on Spotify as well.
Yeah,
They
it's actually in
usually
the
go up a
description
day
down below.
after.
Yeah, it's in the description. The link to our Spotify's. We have 200
Um,
followers. Please consider making it 201.
yeah. I don't have anything to shill. So
F.
thank you all for joining us. Thank you for a very engaged chat this evening. And yeah, with nothing else, say goodnight, Meg.
I'm not a right winger. I just hate all of you. Good night, Meg.
Good night, Meg.